Wriothesley has not gotten a banner in 14 months. This guy needs a banner. I'm going to be honest. Like, this guy is a decent DPS, and I don't understand why they're keeping him so hidden away. The only other character that I believe has had this bad of a rerun time is Shinha. And this is the first banner rerun, by the way. Shinha came out on the 1st of the month, right? We can actually go ahead and look. Shinha came out in 2.4 on January 5th, as you can see here, 2022. It took her until 3.5, I believe, or 3.6. Yeah, 3.5. And it was March 21st before she got a actual rerun, making it 14 months. Wriothesley is about to be there. That is basically where Wriothesley's at. I'm going to be honest. We can just scroll up just a little bit to 4.1. 1017. We are currently 5 days away from him being 14 months old. If we come here, we can see that Nevi released in the same exact update as Wriothesley, so 4.1. And if we come up, we can actually see that Nevi gets a couple reruns so far. He gets one in 4.5, and his newest rerun just came out for 5.2. So Nevi has already gotten 2 reruns before Wriothesley has gotten his first, which is a very, very bad thing, I'm going to be honest. Like, I don't think we should be seeing characters that are, you know, this poorly ran to where they're just like, oh, well, they're gone. And the dude hasn't gotten a rerun, and we don't have, I mean, I'll go back into the game here real quick and show you guys how long we have on these banners, which is going to be even longer. It's 18 days. So 13 extra days. And then we have to see if he's even in 5.3, which could even be worse, because if he's not in 5.3, that's an extra 40 days added to the clock for him. And that will then make him, I believe, the longest to rerun character. I believe he is the longest to rerun character once he reaches that point. And if that becomes true, then that's going to be an issue for Wriothesley, for Wriothesley Wanters, for people who like the character. Because he is a good character, I would say. I don't think that he's bad. Judging by the reaction with Chaska, I feel like a lot of people... Would I say Chaska's better than Wriothesley? I don't think so, because Wriothesley can handle AoE way better. So Wriothesley is a lot better in AoE situations than Chaska, which is why I would give it to him. I think the main reason why we have not gotten a rerun for Wriothesley is because the perception of him as like a good character wasn't really there when he came out. However, there is an argument to be made that certain characters, I'm just gonna, you know, not necessarily a proper team, but it's, you know, there's an argument to be made, guys, that certain characters were not existent when this guy came out to make him good, right? So Emily, Shilonen, Fiorina, none of those characters existed at the time. I'm gonna be honest, like, I'm not joking with you. None of those characters at the time were in the game when he came out. He came out before all these characters in the game. It is very saddening that this character is getting pushed back so much, because now, like, I would say Fiorina and Emily are his two, like, real juggernauts of, like, making him better, right? Because Emily is going to provide off-field damage that's really good, and then Fiorina is able to buff him while providing off-field damage that's really good, and she's able to still allow him to vape with a Bennett and Shangling team, not vape, melt. So yeah, Wriothesley has a lot of teammates now that weren't even out when he came out. I'd like to point out something. Here, we can see that 90,000 here. That is a lot of Wriothesleys. This is 98,322 Wriothesleys. You want to know a character who, you know, came out and was pretty broken, hasn't gotten to rerun, how many they have? 429,784. This is a perception of a mid character versus like one of the best characters in the game. So it's very obvious to see, like, the perception of Wriothesley when he came out didn't really seem like he was worth summoning for, especially since Fiorina was coming out right before him, or right after him, right? People knew Fiorina was going to be pretty good, just the same way that we know the Archon's going to be pretty good, right? So they, you know, summon for Nevi, skip Wriothesley. And another thing we can look at is that Nevi, who's had 3 times as many banners as Wriothesley, is 411,000, right? That, you know, kind of weird how Arlecchino has more, but whatever. So to me, who's seeing this, it's very obvious. Like, this character getting 1 banner, being a more mid character, prevented a lot of people from having him. I'm going to be honest. Like, I feel like a lot of people skipped him with the intention of getting him on his rerun. And people will say, like, oh, he's a mid character. If they rerun him, it's not going to make more money for them than, you know, Arlecchino's rerun, which Arlecchino hasn't had a single rerun, which, you know, that's different. But I want you to think of a character like Kokomi, right? Kokomi, on her initial banner, had pretty bad sales. Like, it was very obvious that Kokomi's banner was pretty bad. Like, yeah, it wasn't great. The reason why that update made so much money for Genshin is because Riot and Shogun released, and she's like the most popular character in the game at all. So Kokomi's banner did pretty poorly on her first run. However, people realized, oh wait, Freeze is like a crazy meta team. And then what happened when Kokomi got her initial rerun banner, her sales shot up, guys. Like, if you were around during the time and you looked at the sales for these banners, you could see, like, oh yeah, Kokomi, she's cooking. Like, she's actually, like, insane with the amount of sales that she's getting now. So many people thought, oh yeah, she's mid, I'm gonna skip her, right? Or they spent all their summons for the Pyro Archon, so they didn't summon, right? And they, you know, spent all their money, just because this is more money-wise that we're doing, not necessarily total pulls. But, you know, they spend, you know, their paychecks on Raiden, and they're like, all right, I got to save for ramen, you know, next month, whatever. So that's sort of what I'm thinking what's happening with Wriothesley, is that when we see this guy's rerun banner happen, one, it's been 14 months. People are just going to summon out of that because they're not going to be like, oh, we don't know if he's coming back. We got to make sure that he comes back, right? And I'm going to be honest, guys, I'm summoning for Wriothesley C6. I was thinking about Arlecchino C6, but I do think that overall I will probably like Wriothesley C6 more, especially with how Pyro Archon possibly could be. I am very interested to see how this is going to work, just because I like the character, which is another reason why this video is coming out. Like, I feel like the reason why I haven't really been a fan of him as of late is because, like, one, I'm kind of wishy-washy on him to begin with. I don't really like him sometimes, and then I love him sometimes, and then I'm kind of in the middle. You know, it depends on the day that you ask me how much I like my Wriothesley. And honestly, sometimes, you know, he feels really good. He's clearing the same, you know, chambers as fast as Arlecchino, which is insane to me. But yeah, we haven't had this guy's banner in a while. And at this point, I do think that it's actually just profitable for them to release this guy's banner, possibly even right after the Pyro Archon or with her. That would be very profitable for them, I'm going to be honest, because I imagine that, you know, this guy plus the Pyro Archon would be just massive amounts of money, because I do think a lot of people like this character, and I do think a lot of people want to summon on this character, but it's been 14 months. They've not had a single chance to. So, yeah. For me personally, I think a way to easily fix this is just to introduce triple banners. I think triple banners is the only way, other than, you know, maybe the Chronicle banner actually becoming good, and they, you know, go ahead and they're like, oh yeah, you can now just only have limited 5-star characters, and, you know, it's a banner that a whole bunch of them will appear on. Like, you know, certain Chronicle banners could be good to summon on, other ones could be worse, right? I feel like that's another way that they could do it. Honestly, that's a way that I'm considering. Like, if they do it correctly and they don't have it to where, you know, you can lose your 50-50 to Diluc on a Chronicle banner, and then you lose your guaranteed the next Chronicle banner, I do think that is a way that they could fix it. I was against the Chronicle banner initially. That's all I have to really say about this. I just really hope that they give this guy a rerun. I hope, you know, that they give this guy a rerun. I think he deserves a rerun, very much so. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.